Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku's Showboat, and today is more of the Pyanodon's playthrough. I'm just going to do my usual adjustments as I get settled in here today. Anyway, I think that's a little close, but there we go, that's better. I've got the kitty next to me again. He has been feeling a bit better for several days now. He's been feeling nice, I think. Not as many troubles. So that's always good to see. So the game has not been updated to 1759 yet, which is the big change coming to basic oil processing for vanilla. So don't have to worry about that at all for the moment. Where we left off last time was that I was about to finish optical fiber and sort of just barely ran out of time. We were about 10-15 minutes from actually being able to make non-zero amounts of optical fibers. We're on the step of Kevlar at the moment, but I do, before I progress, want to make note of something I've read on the forums in the Pyanodon's mods section. Hello, what are you doing? You want lap? You're gonna go lap? Okay, you're going. The kitty has entered the lap and is stretching. He has entered the lap. We are go for lap time. We are go for lap time. Okay. Hi. Are you going to settle, or are you just going to stand on my lap for this lap time? Anyway, so Pyanodon mentioned on a specific thread uh, regarding tips for mid-game, saying that you're missing the power of pie petroleum handling. Oh, I guess it's no longer lap time. Alright, bye. Going back to your heat pad. Is that even on? No, of course not. That's why. Alright. Now your heat pad is doing work. He says that you can do oil or fuel oil into combustion mixture, which I'm doing currently, but also mentions coal bed gas and natural gas. Well, natural gas is basically the same way as crude oil, but coal bed gas was mentioned. Coal bed gas to power. I did theory crafting. I did spend a little bit of time going over exactly how this would work. Because there's no direct method of converting coal bed gas into power. Maybe it has a fuel value in and of itself and can be burned, but going the route of combustion mixture, we have acid gas is the only one that does not consume coke in some way. Now, there is this route to make refined syngas from filtration media, and that's what I based my theory crafting off of, but I don't like that it takes what's ostensibly a non-renewable resource in the form of the filtration media in the form of the activated carbon, because the only way to get to activated carbon is through zinc chloride, which requires zinc plates, which you can only get out of zinc, and I don't at this point know of, or have, I should say, a non-renewable method of getting zinc. There is this recipe here, and apparently you can get it out of soot as well. This would theoretically be the renewable method of getting zinc ore. It's not like you need a ton of the filters to feed all of that, but anyway, the point is that doing the refined syngas out of filtration media based and coal bed gas based refined syngas, which I'm currently making, by the way. I'm currently doing this process to get refined syngas. I would have to massively expand it, but it's not exclusively what you get out of the coal bed gas that's going to be the primary source of power in this circumstance. Because coal bed gas requires a lot of oxygen to fuel it, you can think of it as a way of having something to do with oxygen that also gives you power when doing electrolysis to get hydrogen. So what this ends up being is a massively scaled electrolysis line, like I'm thinking in the order of magnitude of 35 electrolysis machines, converting water into oxygen and hydrogen, giving you enough hydrogen to fuel, shall we say, I have a little bit of hydrogen burning somewhere down here, to fuel, oh, I don't know, 4 of these. It's enough to fuel 12 powerhouses and 10 combustion turbines, which is like 129-ish megawatts of power that generates off of the hydrogen, and then it pays for itself in converting the oxygen to coal bed gas to refined syngas to combustion mixture, and then burning that, and it ends up being, as one would expect, based off of the outputs of the electrolysis machine, you end up with twice as much hydrogen as you do oxygen. You end up with, if you had 12 powerhouses burning hydrogen, you'd have 6 powerhouses fully operating and 5 combustion turbines burning the refined syngas based off of the coal bed gas and the oxygen from the electrolyzers. That's how I think that math works out. And that process converting the oxygen is not, it's a delta positive of about 10-ish megawatts in total, including the coke inputs into the machines. I have not looked at the coke inputs to feed the 12 hydrogen. I haven't taken that into account yet, so when I say that it's 129-ish megawatts on the output for the hydrogen, that's before subtracting the, I think, 60 megawatts of power worth of coke that needs to be input into that system. It should be, I think, 12 per second of coke to feed that. 1 per second of coke per powerhouse, which is 5 megawatts per powerhouse. Yeah, so that's my theory crafting at the start of today about all of that. I have connected my PPD already. Now to completely shift gears, because that, while it does end up giving you, let's say, a net positive of 80 megawatts, let's say, net delta positive, after taking into consideration the coke that you have to feed into it, and what it takes to get the coke, and what it takes to get the zinc chloride. Let's just say that in the end it's about 80 megawatts for a setup that is a scale of 35, 36 electrolyzers, 30 pressure pumps, 14 coal bed gas extractors, 3 gas refineries, and total of 18 powerhouses and 15 combustion turbines, towers, whatever. Yeah, that's a pretty big setup for about 80, 90 maybe net total after, like, rough estimate after remaining factors that weren't taken into account prior. So, yeah, it's a decent chunk more power, and theoretically also renewable at some point or other. So you need a nylon in. This is the nylon in. What am I thinking? And then I need the Kevlar out. And I only need this one machine, I do believe. So, nylon! Oh boy, oh joy, oh bliss, nylon. Hey car, could you take, like, all of that out of my inventory for me, and all of those, and that, and that. Maybe keep the belt. That. Some of this other stuff. Really need a bigger inventory. Really need a bigger inventory. Don't know why I've been carrying around iron chests as well. I should be using exclusively steel. Exclusively steel. Take that activated carbon as well. I don't need it. This will do. For now. Nylon! Off we go. That is the next thing to add to the bus. I want all of that. So no more belt in the car. Nylon is being made all the way down here. Right, that's excellent. All the way down. Right here. This blue stuff. The blue stuff. Now, I will note that as soon as I pick up some of this, and some of this, I can officially make some red belts. I can officially make red belts at this point in time. I can handcraft what I need of red belts, including the splitters and the undergrounds. Do I want to set up a place where I am making advanced small parts and then set up an area? Official, yay! Yes, it is official. I can make non-zero reds, but I'm not going to right now. At this very point in time. Although, it can happen. It can happen. I've been thinking about how I would set up advanced small parts, and, yeah. Anyway. Suffice it to say that I don't quite have the level of production that I would like of some of the components required to make the small parts. Yes, 4 entire tiles of belt could be upgraded. I'll just go ahead and keep going. The primary problem with the red belts is that it's only, like, the underground distance has not been changed versus vanilla. So that would mean completely rewiring my entire main bus to accommodate this. To accommodate the new spacing. But once you hit blue, you have to revert back again, basically. The yellow spacing of 4, 2, empty, 4 works very well when you do the upgrade to blue, but it doesn't when you do the upgrade to red. Because once you do blues, at that point you could actually do take your 4, 2, 4 and make it 10. You can start using the 2 in between, so once I have access to the blue undergrounds at the start of the bus here, I can start using these 2 in the middle between here, because the blue underground will be able to stretch all the way across, but you can't do that with reds, sadly. So in the end, the only real point of the reds will be accommodating any time that I absolutely need more than 15 per second, but there's still other ways to get around that. There are other ways, as I continue looking for where I'm actually going to put my nylon. Oh, that's not a good spot for you. Because, oh hey, we are already at the point of needing yet another set of 4 out here. Because that's a set of 4, that is a full used set of 4, this is a full used set of 4. Yeah, it's getting wider. And the wider you are, the more undergrounds you need, which is a bit of a problem at high scale. One of those weaknesses of using a main bus. Ah, I see the rock finder is working wonderfully today. Oop. Yeah, that's also a problem. Not all the way out there, what am I thinking? There to there. That's how you do it. Ah! More rocks. That will continuously be my biggest complaint with alien biomes, is just the sheer numbers of rocks that get added. Yep, that's a rock, thank you. Oh, there's more. Specifically, my complaint, though, is not so much this, but the volcanic biomes. I can understand the desire to have more rocks in that biome. Volcanic biomes sort of makes sense that there would be more rocks there, but when you have to deal with that many, it is a little bit problematic. Yes, rock will tend to win versus car. And unfortunately, tank is blue science. eventually we will be tank, and that will help a fair bit. We will be tank exclusively for being able to just run through rocks. That is the exclusive reason why I will use tank. Alright, Nylon, get your rear end up here. That's another reason to probably start using the red belts. Is just to reduce... Oh yeah, my pipe finder is also working well today. Just to reduce the travel time on the belts. Because stuff does have to travel a fair distance. Yes, the airplane mod is something else I've been considering, because then you can just fly over everything, including the rocks. But the rocks are still going to be in the way of my belts, and that's another issue. My belts and my pipes. Speaking of which, we are almost gonna have a problem. We are almost at that point where we're gonna have issues. So, Kevlar. Kevlar into Kevlar coating. It is used in yellow science. Nanobots, I'm not using nanobots on this particular playthrough. Believe me, I would be loving life if I was using nanobots. That time has come and is progressing. I have currently 19k in that warehouse, which... I am apparently using a lot of gravel. I apparently need to mine more stone. I'm not worried about this mining out. Stone is actually free-ish. So you don't have to worry about stone at this point in the game. I can get as much stone as I want whenever I want. So Pyanodons, if you've never played it before, as opposed to Bobs, even with Bobs and Angels, it is, let's say, several times more complex. Several. They don't even compare in terms of complexity. It is a massive difference. Yeah, figures that would be the one thing that I didn't want this way. Yes, and by good challenge, you mean something that'll take about several hundred hours mandatory. Mandatory minimums on your first playthrough. I'm not even at blue science yet. Think of it this way. I'm not at blue science yet. We're 97, 98 hours in. And that's a good pace. That's a decent pace. There are people at 100 hours that haven't even gotten to Circuit 1s yet. And most people, as soon as they look at Circuit 2s, leave. They leave, they're gone. Wait, is this TPA? I actually have TPA routed? What? Alright. Well, that's good to know. I thought I had it locally only at this point. Alright. Yes, those are rocks and those are pipes, I know. Thank you, Car, for letting me know. And for reference, there is also a version of, well, there is a pi block, so think similar to C block, but Pyanodons. Oh, hey, it caught up. Alright, so there's my TPA and organic solvent in, so we should start seeing some non-zero amounts of Kevlar! Welcome, Kevlar. Good to see you. You are going to be used for many things a lot later, but right now you are needed for Kevlar coating, which is going to be made in an automated factory. I'm gonna space you out just like so. And you are going to be making these beautiful, lovely things. I'm spacing this out so I have the option of putting a splitter here so that I can start feeding in the rest of the system. Then I have to bring these up as well. That should work. I'll have the, so the iron line is right here. The first line on the bus. Ah! UPS, please. This is the only inputs required, which is nice. Think I should make a whole bus line full of cars. Ha! So, here's the thing. I have a car here. I have a car here, 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 and here. And my car finder always works wonderfully. Yeah, it will immediately stop me in my tracks every time I have found one of my cars while driving a car. Next is the niobium iron coating, NBFE. Now, this Kevlar coating is exclusively used in making the NBFE. So, maybe a gap of that. Yeah, that should work. That's a big base for being this early. Yes. Yet no. Yes, yet no. This is a fine base for Pyanodons. This is my base. This is my base. I'm not using a single unit of track at all. No rails. None. No rails whatsoever. All belt. No robots. Yet. Yeah, nice little starter base to make Circuit 2s. Isn't that beautiful? For the record, Pyanodon has watched this and hates this map because I have everything. Is always dumbstruck by just the resources I have around me. I am not lacking anything. In particular, my most recent discovery for this map is this. the equivalent of over 700 units per second of tar as soon as I tap it, which that's one of those resources that gets used a fair bit. A fair bit. You can use it to make some very important things. But I have currently tapped a bunch of tar up in this vicinity, as well as in this vicinity. And this is already a lot of tar. That is actually starting to get tapped out. Now that I am looking at these percentages, that is a little low. That's 67 per second, 7.7 per second, 11, 112, 3.6, and 15.6. So there's like about 200-ish per second there, and 65.8 there. Pretty sure this used to be like 300 and something, but there's another 700 out here to tap, which is nuts. It's crazy insane how much that is. And then later game resources, this Kimberlite is supposed to be an incredibly rare resource, and yet here I am sitting on 21-ish in this location. Items to tap. Pipes. Volcanic events, I should say, to tap. Plus I have more everywhere. It's crazy. This particular map. Thanks to the power of RSO actually doing its job. And I didn't really change any settings for this map either. Most everything is default, which if I was going to change anything, actually, if I would go back and change anything about the starting conditions, it would be to increase the density to 600% on everything. Because that's the one aspect of this game that... Oh, my car finder almost got me there. So one thing about this game that I am not as big of a fan of is is how limited resources are close to you. I'm okay with them being limited, I just don't think they last long enough. Why am I even moving down here to begin with? I need my niobium iron alloy, which I need to actually find again. Where is my niobium iron alloy? This is tin chromium. Niobium iron is being made right here. This is the niobium iron alloy. So I need to go a little bit further south. Then this will be yet another lane on the bus. That would be nichrome. Wait, I've passed it, haven't I? Yes, I have a bit. Right under some stuff for blue science. Right about there. Alright, get this run across. Really looking forward to blue science and being able to actually pick up my next set of long reach techs. doing that's primarily just for me to have that visual indicator that, yes, this is the second lane and not the first. Oh look, more rocks. Gee, I hope I have enough belt for this. Casually running thousands of units of belts per line. Per line. So about that red belt upgrade. Don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I am actually not. I don't have enough belt. I don't actually have enough belt to finish running this. Oh joy. Alright then. That did not break. We're good. Oops. Trying to get on the opposite side. Because I do have some belt. Do it a little bit at a time. I'm probably gonna have to. The alternative is just do what you always do in any playthrough, and that is just don't bother upgrading and just start using the new one as you start making the new one. And then as you need the increased throughput, do the actual upgrades. Oh, that's not good. Oh yeah, I am totally automating big electric poles. Sometimes I don't realize some of the things that I am automating. Hello, belts. Give me things. Make sure I grab all of them. Absolutely all of them. Now I am going to have to relocate that. Or add another. Further down the bus. So that I am able to actually set up red belts. I'm apparently using... Right, I'm using nylon. Of course. Of course this moves. Of course this is moving, because I'm actually using my nylon now, and I need to actually make the, blood meal. Right. So, of course, and my benzene should be moving, because I will need cumene to feed phenol, which means I'm also actively making acetone now, which means that I can set up a oil refinery, a vanilla oil refinery, to process that acetone into wonderful and beautiful organic solvent. Gonna be a long time before I can tap those massive patches. Alright, now that I have the belt. Which reminds me, I need a lane in for you. This lane in is obviously a very easy decision to make, to have right there. Because all you need is that alloy. Not those. You need iron, but not that type of iron. So, once I have some blue science going, and I start picking up blue science techs, we're due for another... By the way, I ran this belt up, I went back, picked up more belts, and drove all the way back down the bus, and the actual product still hasn't physically made its way all the way up here yet. But once I have blue science and once I start picking up those blue science techs, it will be time for another round of going through everything that I have and making it more efficient by incorporating the more efficient processes from blue science. For the processes that actually get sufficiently more effective at blue science to actually be worth doing the upgrades. Because there are some things that I don't think are necessarily quite worth it, maybe. Still some balancing that needs to be done, I think. Well, correction, they require certain inputs that are rather expensive to make, and they're used to ultimately get something that's not quite as valuable as what you're throwing in at it. So, anyway, that will be once that stuff arrives. Sadly, none of it is in radar range. Speaking of radars, let's make a few of them. Just a few radars to plop down. Oh gosh, 98 hours. 98 hours flat. There's a radar. I hate that there's a slight gap, so you're gonna get another radar. Right there. And then sadly the radars do not extend all the way out to this side of the bus, so maybe at some point I'll start plopping radars down out there. And I have to fill the rest of this in with landfill, and then go all the way out to here. Yeah, let's landfill this. I wonder how many more units this is going to be. About 70,000, I think, tiles? Perhaps? Alright, get that powered. It'll feed in the Kevlar. Oh, hey. The, stuff... Yeah, it's just waiting on that. I think it is moving. Let's just say it better be moving. I better not have made a critical error down here. No, it is moving. It is moving, so it'll eventually get here. There it is. There it is. It's a-coming. So, then I need to bring... So there's still one more line that needs to be drawn, and that is the actual plastic, because now it is time... Finally... It is finally time... for setting up optical fiber. Now, optical fiber itself will take the niobium iron coating. Niobium iron coating, I believe, is exclusively used in the making of the optical fiber. NBFE coating is exclusively used to make optical fiber. So, direct feed as necessary. So, all of this stuff here, these three, can safely be used in direct feeding. The copper coating, mind you, I think is actually used in one other thing. And the PPD is used in some other things as well. And of course, Kevlar is used in other things. But these three, direct feed. But I am going to need some plastic as well. So, same thing as before. Plastic will need its own place for the bus. I am making it. Yesterday I sort of pretty much started off the day by producing plastic out of aromatics and syngas. This whole base does not have petroleum, even though I am absolutely using plenty of oil-based products. Oil and tar-based products. Now, the plastic is being made near where I've turned my bus, so I have to go all the way down there. This hurts so badly, by the way. Covering over a molybdenum patch actually physically hurts. Especially right now, where the tech is such that only for a full yellow belt of molybdenum ore in, at this point in the game, you only end up with a half of a unit per second of molybdenum plates out, from 15 per second in. It is incredibly valuable as a material, and why I will be avoiding its use later on once, unless I've already done it. Once I set up methanol, anytime I set up methanol, there is the option of using molybdenum, and technically the most efficient recipe that produces the most. Yeah, that pipe is gonna... My pipes will always get destroyed at some point. They will all be destroyed at some point, but yeah, the recipe that gives the most methanol is one that actually also uses molybdenum. It uses molybdenum and vanadium, and I am not prepared to use either of those. So instead I will be doing a recipe that involves copper and titanium tetrachloride. Sadly, Did I actually already do this? Or have I just been delaying it? I think I've just been delaying doing this. So, my plastic is being made. I did this exclusively just to show how it's done. Get out of the car. So my plastic is being made here. Right here. In these methanol reactors. Oddly enough. Speaking of methanol. It is converting aromatics and syngas into plastic. Here's the thing, though. I need to route it here. Right here. So I need to go from here to here. Gracefully. There are options. Fortunately, you may notice that doing the straight line across actually puts me on my fluid bus. So it will be a relatively simple matter to route myself over and then up. Now, what also is a problem is this salt mine. So that adds an extra level of complexity. So not only am I turning my bus in this area, I'm also mining salt in the middle of it. And it looks like, yes, just one tile. Just one tile. It is perfect spacing. It is perfect spacing. I can't believe... Wait, what? Why? No, you don't exist. Thanks. I have another salt rock? Okay. I don't even think I noticed that one existing when I set up my salt mining. So this makes things a lot simpler, actually. Otherwise, I would have had to figure out how to go up and over. Sort of make a side lane for myself. Oddly enough, these are all off. All of these three are off by one. Here, let's fix that. Now, the evil part here is that it's gonna use up a bunch of undergrounds, unless I upgrade my pipes. Then it's a lot less. I can do the same thing on you. And on you. That way, I don't actually have to use any more undergrounds. So off it goes! Also, you. Repair. So it doesn't take an extra spot in my inventory. And that, theoretically, is optical fiber. Let me get back in my car so I can actually do some outputs and start buffering. So, what is next? Next, I had planned on doing the Printed Circuit Substrate 2, also known as PCB 2, which is required for the wonderful and beautiful circuit board 2s. This I largely actually already have set up in terms of inputs. There is, however, one very important input that I do not currently have for it. That input is etching solution. So that will be the next thing that I work on. Now, etching solution is going to need hydrogen peroxide in order to craft. How many? Oh, of course it's an odd number out. Of course it's an odd number out, so you're gonna make me have to balance you anyway. At scale. I don't even know if I'll ever get to a high enough scale where that's gonna be of use, but regardless. Yep, that's a good spacing. Alright, that is that. Once the plastic catches up, I will have my optical fibers, which is not only an ingredient to make the circuit 2s, but it's also an ingredient to make blue science, the chemical science packs. Right here, we've got rubber, tinned cable, iron plate, optical fiber, and circuit board 2s. So the moment you get circuit board 2s, you've got chemical science packs. There's no difference between the two. They are the same. They are one and the same, because circuit board 2s require optical fibers. That's the main thing. Okay. PCB2 requires copper plates. Have it. Nylon parts. Gotta bus it. Tin plates. Have it. Phenolic boards. Can make it. And etching solution also can make it. Of the two, between etching solution and phenolic boards, as I stretch, the etching solution, I think, is the most involved. And etching solution is used in a bunch of things that are also required for the circuit 2s. Not just, like, further out, that's used in circuit 4s, and maybe this is used in 3s, or maybe exclusively 4s. Yeah, 3s. 3s for processors. So, this stuff gets used in 2, 3, and 4. And it's used in these different types of silicon wafers. So, we've got 4 things that etching solution is used for to get circuit 2s. So this is a very, 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 very important thing to set up. I'm going to need lard, which means I'm going to need to expand my Relesia plantations, and quite possibly my mushrooms as well, my Faugae. I have phosphoric acid. I may not have enough phosphoric acid, so I might have to expand that as well. And then we've got this hydrogen peroxide requirement. Hydrogen peroxide, that's going to eat some of my nickel, which I'm not a fan of, although I do have plenty of nickel. And it requires this anthraquinone, which this stuff comes from chromium aromatics and liquid nitrogen. Beautiful Ln2. I have all of that for reference. So, etching solution, really the only things I need to do is set up logistics, and let's see, so I need a rectisol, a filter, a mixer. Rectisol, filter, mixer, and like the stuff for the lard, the muckmo pastures. So, rectisol, I have 1. What I need to determine is how much etching solution I want. So, as per usual, when setting up new things, as I've done pretty much the whole time thus far, I want to determine how many buildings I need in the entire process. So really, what I should do is I should bring up the building that is going to make the etching solution, which is a mixer, which looks like I'm not carrying around any mixers at the moment. Yeah, I'm not carrying around any. Looks like I need to grab some of my iron and lead. Iron and lead. Lead is somewhere out here. Further down. Lead is the second lane of something out here. Oh, there's yet another kill to add to my list. At least I thought... Ah, there it is. There's the lead. Mixer! Now, one thing I haven't done is actually gone through and calculated how much etching solution in total is needed to make the one building's worth of circuit 2s. I should probably do that. I should probably do that. What do my notes look like on that front? Don't mind me while I just give things a gander here. Oh boy, that's a lot of... Well, because I know I'm going to need a lot of it in the end, or later, I would probably want to overproduce anyway. So what does a single machine give me of etching? 15. I think I'm going to make at least 2. Titanium circuits. Fortunately, I have plenty of titanium right here. And plenty of circuit 1s. That was another thing that I sort of wanted to also do, is scale up the circuit 1s a little bit. Partly because there's now going to be a permanent demand for circuit 1s. Oh hey, my car finder worked. Yeah, that's a car. That is a car. Alright, and... circuits. There's the other mixer. Hi, kitty. You've, he's... The cat has draped his arm over my arm. He's got his front paw just draped over my arm. Like, yeah, stretch. Oh hey, my car finder worked again. On the same car. I've got these things called repair packs. They're my car insurance. For reference, I don't even have a driver's license. I have a learner's permit right now that's going to expire and not ever really be used. Probably just converted. Oh hey, we've got non-zero that into a state ID. I don't drive. I don't own a car. Yay. Optical fiber. So, second mixer. That'll be all I need. So I just need 2 per second on lard to feed this. I have the sulfuric. I guess I can do that. Looks like I have to go and pick up more pipe. Undergrounds. I was about to say piped grounds, but actually, for the niobiums, it's niobium underground pipe, whereas the iron is called pipe to ground. So, hydrogen peroxide, oddly enough, is going to be made above this. In the, I think it was, well, anthraquinone. What are you otherwise used for? You are exclusively used to make hydrogen peroxide. Okay. Exclusivity. Hydrogen peroxide is made in filters. I need 10 per second. Alright, well, filter. Tell me, how much of that do you make per filter? Plenty. And then the other one was in, what? The rectisol? Oh, you're getting up now? Where are you heading off to? Why? Why? We have a thing that only gets used to make this, so what's the what's the ratio going to be? Oh, uh, yeah, there we go. There we go. 5 to 3, that's what the ratio is. Oh joy. It's a 5 to 3. A reminder, again, that anthraquinone only is used to make hydrogen peroxide, and yet it's a freaking 5 to 3 ratio between them. Joy! Oh joy, oh bliss. I am not going to be making 3 filters worth of hydrogen peroxide when all I need is 10 per second, and especially when hydrogen peroxide... Oh, it's used in other things. Actually. Oh look, it's used as part of vanadium concentrate. Hmm. I'm gonna say it's gonna be part of circuit 3s. That is a fair bit. 100 over 6. 16 and 2/3. Chromite mix. As part of gold processing, which will be, again, needed for the circuit 3s. Alright, well, it might not be a bad thing to overproduce, but 5 to 3, that is a lot of chromium, and a lot of aromatics potentially, and a lot of Ln2, and a lot of nickel to actually feed that much. Now, I'd only use less than 10 per second in the end. Was it really worth actually setting that up now, or would I prefer doing something like setting up ghosts or something? I've got no idea. He says as he starts setting up ghosts. And clearing away rocks in preparation. Well, regardless, I need at least 2 to feed 1. I need at least 2 to feed 1, so I will need another rectisol. Which means, please, oh gosh, duralumin, alright. Duralumin. Off we go to grab the duralumin. That is a kill. What do you mean, finally some English? Ah, there it is. Alright, where is the rectisol? Other streams? Yeah, that would partly be due to just the time of day. It is currently the European prime time range, start of their prime time range, where it's like going into midday on the east coast of the US. I would suspect it would be a mix of actual Spanish, Russian, and German, and French at the moment. Maybe Italian. Do I smoke math? I mean, I, I do math. Actually, I mostly have it done for me through mods. Oh, this is awkward. Yeah, that's not gonna work. That does. Okay. Oh, I am out of my niobium undergrounds. And that, I think, just means I need to bring the other inputs in at this point. You could never support mods that break the art style of the game. Oddly enough, I somewhat sort of agree with you that stuff like this with Pyanodons, while it's good art, I'm not complaining about the actual whether or not this art is good, but my complaint has always been that it doesn't match well with the art style of the actual base game. It doesn't mesh well with base game. But it's not going to stop me from playing it. Otherwise, well, you can make the argument that a complete overhaul can do whatever the heck it wants. My suggestion is either redo the like vanilla machine art, or just completely disable the vanilla machine art fully. Otherwise, the actual sprites for stuff, they look fine, they look great, but yes, I have made mention that I don't think that they mesh very well with the base game. And it does consider what you think looks good, but anyway, I have to go out and get more niobium pipe. Is 2 lanes of coke bad? depends on the processes that you're doing that require coke, because in one sense it's bad in that you might be overproducing, and in the other sense it might be bad because you might actually be massively, massively underproducing. If I still had all of the coal that I was using to feed into my coke production, I would theoretically have 3.2 lanes of coke being produced at the moment. But yeah, just depends how much you need. All the way down. However, if you're referring to how I have, like, a set of belts of coke, and then I have this one that's randomly sitting off to the side, that's completely separate from everything else, yeah, that's because I have a lane of coke that is being made through completely renewable sources as well that I sort of wanted to deal with at some point. It needs to be migrated over, I think. And yes, this mod set absolutely makes you feel like a chemist. Even more so than in Angels. Which, by the way, I do think that Angel's art style meshes a lot better with the vanilla graphics style. It feels a lot closer than this. Huh, I wish you got something for launching a rocket. Honestly speaking, I don't know what the actual end game of this looks like of Pyanodons, because this is the first true playthrough that I've done with Pyanodons. Alright, so I did that whole excursion just to pick up more pipe. And this will look a little weird because even though I'm making it here and bringing it in here, I'm gonna move this all the way out to a spot on the bus, and it looks like I might need a bit of landfill at this point. It might be that time, or close to it. We are just about there, at the point where I need the landfill for things. Because I really don't want to turn this bus again, and it's a bit too late. It's a little bit too late if I wanted to turn the bus. Okay, it is chromium and nickel plates are the two belt lines that need to be brought in. I also want this set up. That already has the inserters. And I need to hook up the aromatics and the liquid nitrogen. Now you're going to consume about 6. Really a lot less than that, but still. I wonder if I can route that liquid nitrogen. I can cheat on the liquid nitrogen. I shouldn't, though. Looks like I don't necessarily have a spare 10. Oh, that's not good. I think it might be about that time to go and tap that massive set of patches of tar. Yeah, I think it's that time. If I add in another compressor, that is... Oh, boy, yeah. Uh... The commentary is audiobook-like. Well, that is a good thing. I have spent a long time working on audio-related stuff to try and make it sound at least halfway decent. I know that when I first started doing content on YouTube way back in 2011, it was not good. Flat out. It's terrible. Don't go to any of the videos that still exist from that time. They are not good. Not good audio quality in the slightest. Alright, I need to decide exactly what is happening next. What is happening next? I can bring in my nickel and my chromium. This is the chromium. But it looks like I will need to fill this in with landfill. So step 1 is landfill. I have no idea about that. Probably because it takes a certain type of person to play a game like this. That, and I'm still getting enough coffee in me to sustain myself. Yeah, let's just get, like, everything stored. Oh, I apparently... Boom. Make things. Time for landfill. So landfill, I have a warehouse that is down near a stone. Oh, there's another. Of course I would break something after depositing everything that I have in my inventory. Of course I would break something. Now I have to go all the way back to pick up a pipe. So I can do this repair. If I can find the spot again, that's the other point. There it is. down, down from here to the right. Right there. Landfill. Glorious landfill. I have more in other locations as well being made. I definitely want to be a little bit frugal in how I use this, because I know that this is not even remotely close to the amount that I know that I'm going to need, but I need to do very specific things with this landfill. In particular, I want to sort of square things off. Probably going to do this by not having car. So I want to make sure that as I go out from there that I get everything else underneath. For the width of the bus, at least. A little bit further out. I think that covers it. Did I really just say that? Did I really just say I think that covers it on literally filling water with land? Not planned. Not planned. Now I don't have to be frugal for a little bit. Technically. Actually, I do. Because what I should try to do is define... Well, that's going to be a lot. So, up from there to land, and then all of it in between, and then all of this needs to be filled at some point. It's just when I do each thing, maybe as I need it. As I need the lanes, I might bring in little bits of landfill. Will be like C block, I guess, and do it as I have the resources to do it. For now, though, I will use the rest of my landfill that I currently have to fill in as much of this stuff as I can. That's everything from the inventory, now everything from the car. There we go. That's all we got. Oh hey, that's a rock. Thank you, car, for letting me know your thoughts about that rock. Right, this was all in the car. This was generally all in the car. And this was in my inventory, primarily. With the exception of you. Yeah, let's get rid of some of that stone. Ooh. Yeah, that always hurts when you burn yourself like that. I think I've burned my hands twice when cooking. One time the first time, I grabbed the handle of a pan that I noticed had been put over the wrong burner. I had turned the wrong burner on for where I had the pan, and decided, you know what, I'll just move the pan to the one that was on. But my brain didn't register that the handle of that pan had been resting over top of the burner that was on a metal handled pan. So that didn't register in my brain. I grabbed the handle and moved it to the spot, and yeah, second degree burns on the hand as a result of that decision. And then the second time, I had the bright idea to try to grab the handle with my bare hands on a pan that was being baked. I had taken the pan out already with an oven mitt, and I had baked a deep dish pizza in the pan, and I was trying to cut the pizza, and the handle was in my way when I was cutting the pizza, and I didn't have my mitt on, and I just automatically grabbed it to move the handle out of the way without quite thinking about it. And yeah, it's painful. Every single time, it is painful. I just want to do more, make people angry with me for not doing things squared off. Leaving little gaps. Alright, half the stream has been done. Okay. Next. Give me that. And take that. I'll take those. And that. I'm running out of space in my car. Maybe it's time for a new car. Alright, going down, I need to bring up chromium and nickel. Lead rich rock, huh? The chromium and nickel are out-ish in this no man's land. I forget exactly where. My suggestion for that burn would be running cold water over it, but regardless, at some point, when it comes to cooking burns like that, in my experience, you just have to tough it out until your body's response to the pain will alleviate it. Chemicals will flow, but it takes a little time for them to flow, and if you run cold water, if you use ice packs, you're basically just delaying things. And the sooner you go through the intense pain and let it subside, the sooner the pain will just ultimately just stop going away. Because I've noticed with the burns that I've had, after that initial round of a lot of pain, the pain stops for good after that. Even the second degree burns that I've had that have formed blisters, after that initial period of pain, when it right as it happens, you've just got a blister for a little while. There's no, you don't even feel it anymore after a certain point. Where is my stuffs? Where's my stuffs? Stuffs and things. Is that my chromium? Yes, that's my chromium. I can run that one up. Chromium way over here. How long have I not noticed you existing? Pretty long, it looks like. Ah, that explains it. Ooh, hi. Ooh, yeah. That would be a bad one, then. If the skin's gone white on you, you know you've blistered, so it's at least... It is, by definition at that point, I think, a secondary burn. Good luck with that, actually. Especially if it's on the finger. Anytime there's a burn on, like, the tip of your fingers, oh, it hurts. Oh, it hurts so bad, and it hurts worse than even bigger burns on your palm. Yeah, you might want to think about getting some treatment for that. All depends on the on your individual ability to handle pain, of course, but yeah, there are treatments. At least it's consistent. Yes, at least the pain is consistent and it's not like massive waves, like not big spikes of the pain. It's just there, and your body will be able to react to it because uh, the body. This applies to all of your senses, by the way. Your body is designed to make note or to respond to change. Your body is designed to respond to change. So whenever there is something consistent, your body will sort of tune out consistent signals. And that includes pain. So as long as the pain is consistent, your body will, without fail, stop feeling the pain after a while. Or at least it will stop sending the signal saying, hey, I'm in pain all of the time. I think that's the spacing. Don't know. I think we're lane 2. Are we lane 2? Looks like it. I was sort of guessing there. This phenomenon actually explains why, when you're in a hot shower, how the water starts to not feel hot. Even though chances are nothing has changed about the actual temperature of the water. Oh yeah, so the first time I burned my hand was really fun because I was in the middle of cooking as well. And I sort of had to finish what I was cooking and then eat what I was cooking with a burned hand, with two giant marks on my hand that ended up being blistered. Yeah, that was fun. I do actually remember what I was making that day, because it's really bad for you, what I was making on that day. I was making mashed potatoes, that's what burned me. Powdered mashed potatoes, but never mind. Mashed potatoes plus a box of mac and cheese. There was a period where that was part of my diet, was making a box of mashed potatoes with mac and cheese and a bag of frozen vegetables, microwaving a bag of frozen vegetables, and then throwing all of it into one pot and mixing it all together. Yeah, that's a lot of carbs. And then eating, of course, the entire thing in one sitting. For reference, there was a reason why I went on a diet. There's a good reason why I went on a diet. That was one of them. Well, that's nice. That, still ended up good. Yes, between a diet that consisted of that, plus pizza several times a week, ordered out, like, delivery pizza several times a week. Yeah, there's a reason why I had gotten up to 366 pounds before I started my diet. Those were not great times. Off to Nickel! Uh, 366 pounds to kilos. It's like, it was 166 kilos. That's what I was. That's what I was on the day that I started my low-carb / ketogenic diet on August 18th, 2017. Right now, I am, like, at today's scale reading was 193, so 87.5 kilos-ish. I have lost nearly half of my body weight from what it was. Still technically overweight BMI, about 10 pounds off of a quote normal BMI at this point. But yeah, I am a lot better than what I was. I'd always been obese, but that was the highest I had ever been at that point. But the diet I went on works for me. Low carb, ketogenic. It has worked wonderfully for me. But it is not a diet for everyone. That much is certain. And as much as there's been all this talk about how life expectancy on low-carb diets is lower than mixed, like medium, carbs in the diet, the health benefits of losing the weight to begin with far exceed any health malices from the type of diet that you're on for low-carb diets. So if you've got a lot of weight to lose, it will always be better to lose the weight in the end, regardless of what the long-term effects of the diet actually are. More undergrounds. Yes, either way it's lower life expectancy, but it's a lot lower life expectancy due to actual weight versus the any impacts from the type of diet you have. And I do know that the this low carb diet has worked for me quite well. That doesn't mean that I don't have carbs, it just means that I have a lot less carbs. And I have different things. Although, lately I've not been strictly keto for a good while. I've still been low carb, but I haven't been strictly keto, and part of that is I've started trying out some of this stuff. This is 95% dark chocolate. 95% dark chocolate. And the carb count on this one is 3 net carbs per serving. 3 net carbs per serving. So yeah, you learn to actually read lots of labels. That's the other thing with being on diet. You actually start reading labels, which is a good thing for you, because then you realize just how much sugar is in stuff. And it is a bit shocking at times. Even meats, especially here in the States, you always have to pay attention to things. Any time you have anything that has been coated or marinated, always pay attention, because usually they've thrown sugar at it. Of course, doing something as simple as eating things that aren't as processed, eating more natural things, reducing the sources of the refined sugars should be enough to help lower your weight, regardless of how much carbohydrates you have in your diet. You can eat healthily without changing a heck of a lot. Simply eating better than current will impact how much you weigh. And it's not even strictly about how many calories come in versus go out either. So what do I eat? Eggs, bacon, and sausage in the morning for breakfast. In the afternoon for lunch, it's a slice of, it's actually technically a dinner ham, but it's a slice of ham with cut up avocado. One whole avocado every day with some peanut butter. Extra chunky peanut butter. You stick the peanut butter in the hole from the seed of the avocado. Cut it into 4 and stick peanut butter in the center of the 4 slices. And then dinner depends. Right now I've made a crustless quiche that I'm having for dinners. It's eggs, sausage, cheese, and broccoli, and cut green beans. And some heavy cream and seasonings, but yeah. In general, that's that. Hey, how about grabbing these? That sounds great. I sort of need those. Okay, I know I've got sulfuric. brought up here somewhere. Oh, sulfuric, wherefore art thou? Yes, lots of eggs in the end. At the moment. Generally, it's 2 eggs in the morning, fried over hard, along with 2 strips of thick-cut bacon and a couple of slices of a roll of sausage. And yeah, I know that you're not technically supposed to have sausage because it's processed, but come on. Tea is good, but I want caffeine, like actual, real caffeine. Which is why I end up with like 3 28-ounce cups of coffee in the morning. At least I'm assuming it's 20. Where's my sulfuric? Sulfuric, wherefore art thou? There you are. To the left one of organic solvent. Okay. There we go. That's running it up. I didn't used to drink coffee, but then I started grad school. Then I started drinking coffee. And it is absolutely a causal relationship. One caused the other. Oh hey, there's the nickel finally catching up. No, I did not take mathematics. I took, my graduate degree was Masters of Geology. My undergraduate degree was Bachelor's of Science in Biological Sciences. Where is this phosphoric? Somewhere over here, next to hot air. That's a good indicator. The highest math I ever took was the second semester of calculus. And I got a C+. As for what I do, I technically operate my own business. Technically. I am a freelance transcriptionist for the website Rev. I'm actually just gonna start laying pipe here. This should be the lane. Where's my car? Where did I leave it? Down here. Ideally, the longer I do this, the more likely that this is going to be what I do. However, in order to do this exclusively, I would need to make a very specific amount of money per week. Now, if you want to talk math, oh boy, yeah, that's the math I am very, very knowledgeable about. The, anything involving money. That topic, you know, technically I am still paying for a class that I signed up for, an online course on bookkeeping. So I technically know how to do things in QuickBooks Online and how to properly do bookkeeping. And I'm still technically paying for it. That class was $199 a month for a year, 12 months to pay it. And those payments don't stop until November. November is the last payment for that. Then I don't need to make nearly as much per week. Factorio has a decent audience, actually. Technically speaking, when you're first growing, you don't actually want to play games that are supremely popular. In fact, one of the better ways to grow that I've seen has been to have at least a little bit of diversity and to go for games that have fewer current streamers, because who's going to go down a list that is a mile long to find you at however many 0, 1 viewer? People watch a lot of things on Twitch. They follow a lot of people on Twitch. While at the start you're going to get people looking for specific games, the idea is that the most popular people aren't popular because of the game that they play, they're popular because of who they are. The audience is there for them at a certain point, more so than the game that they play. Which is why I have been thinking about having a day each week where I do play something else. Okay, so that is the inputs here. Finally done. That leaves making the hydrogen... making the lard. Lard is the last input here. And that is going to need the muckmo pasture. I need to grab some soil. Alright. Back we go, down the bus. Get some soil. So the muckmo pasture. Now, I will note that I am doing Zapier rendering at the moment, and that does give you bones that can be converted into lard by adding steam. I could do that. I don't know exactly how much lard I can end up getting out of that, and it's yet another pull on my coal/coke to make the steam, or on crude oil. But again, this all does depend on the Zapier processing constantly working as well. That would give 2.63 on bones. Yeah, that's... I don't think that's gonna be enough. Yeah, it can be a little bit difficult to follow if you haven't watched the whole thing. I've got all of the VODs on my YouTube channel, though. And there's good reason why I have both this actual craft time mod and why I have what is it really used for and why I go through the process of doing... No, it's not lard, it is fat. So this is the recipe that I was talking about. You need lard to get etching solution, which is what we're trying to make right now. The lard can come from several different recipes. It can come from bones. Bones come from exclusively through Zapier rendering, which I'm currently doing. And yeah, I just don't think I have enough bones to give me the amount of lard that I need. The lard is supposed to come from these thing called muckmo or muckbox pastures. You'll just keep to your Paradox games. You know, Paradox... I've played a lot of their games, I own a lot of their games, but I don't think going forward I'm going to support them by buying their games anymore. I'm definitely not going to be buying their DLC anymore. So this stuff, this is the recipe I'm going to be doing to get lard, ultimately, from Malesia seeds and mushrooms. Malesia seeds comes from Malesia. Malesia seeds are also used in the production of green science that's used for biological sample 1. And then, of course, mushrooms, it's just mushrooms. It's just mushrooms. Ha! Ha ha, yeah. Malesia will use some of my hydrogen, I've got plenty though. Also uses soil, which reminds me... Can I get soil from... No, you can only get it from here and from this. That sucks, actually. I don't like that. I want my infinite soil from sand extractors. That would be cool. But no, it makes you always have a water input. A lot of water. Might need more water, because I do need to expand this. So, speaking of, I came down here specifically to grab soil. Because I have a thing full of soil. I think I have enough to make these muckmo pastures. Just need to keep grabbing duralumin. Beautiful, beautiful muckmo. Muckmo! Lots of duralumin for this, wow. 100 units each. Oof. Thank goodness I'm making a lot. This is the benefit of taking all of that time to go and increase my efficiency of all of the raw resources. Now, I'm just willy-nilly making a whole bunch of these things at the moment. I actually haven't seen these things in action yet. This will be the first time actually seeing this in action once I set it up. So I needed like 2, I think, per second. So that's 8 of these. Yeah, I'll have enough. So that'll be a thing. I'm expecting this to be like beef. Beef or pork. Probably pigs. Alien pigs, ideally, being made into lard. So that's gonna need... Oh, that's not even a lot of mushrooms. That is not a lot of mushrooms at all. Huh. I think I'll do this locally. Now, to get 4 per second on the Relesia... Technically, I have Relesia on the bus, and I think I did that just to have for this much later, but... Oh, I'm making Relesia here for the bone meal. For the bone meal from our alien horses / unicorns that we are mercilessly slaughtering. And then up here, somewhere, right there, I'm converting Relesia into seeds. It looks like you do get more seeds out of this from the inputs of Relesia. So Relesia itself is more dense. Not like it's gonna really matter too much because I'm going to make it locally, but let me have a look at what the automated factory has to say about this. I need 2. I need 2, so the Relesia, about 2.73-ish. Not quite that much, probably 2.5. What music am I into? Video game music, actually, technically. Between that and when I do listen to music, it's, like, Vocaloid stuff, actually. Have I mentioned that I'm trying to learn Japanese ever so slowly? You may have noticed my name is Otaku Showboat as well. Alright, Relesia plantations. How many do I need to get? What was it again? 2.7. 7. Alright. Probably can get away with 6. Nah, 7. Alright, so 7 Relesia plantations. Lamps, soil, treated wood. Okay, and glass. I'm making lamps. Hello, lamps. Hello, soil. I have to go down to the circuit 1s to find treated wood. Wherever the heck I put it. At least I think that's fiberboard. That's formica. That's not treated wood. Treated wood is used to make the fiberboard. Ah, you're learning Russian in your spare time. Yeah, that's one that I know would also take time to learn. After Asian languages, if you know English, after the Asian languages, I think Russian is still up there on the amount of time it takes to learn. But top 2 are definitely Chinese and Japanese, in terms of how long it takes to learn them specifically for reading, not so much for the actual speaking and comprehension of spoken word for those two. And that, if you actually compare those two, the Chinese is the harder one because it's very tonally based. How you say things matters very much to meaning in Chinese. Japanese, not so much. Very consistent, actually. But the difficulty comes from the written words. Alright, I was looking for my Relesia. Glass, that's right. I think I think I have a buffer for glass down here. So I will go grab some glass from that buffer if it exists. I think it exists. Yeah, there's a lot of very simple ways of saying things, even in Japanese. Like, in Japanese, a full, complete sentence is a verb. Like, a valid, complete thought in Japanese is a verb, because it's actually a very contextually based language. Need to grab more formica and, or not formica, more treated wood lamps and circuits. Circuits. Oh boy. Take those, please, for now. Don't necessarily need them. I am automating lamps, so I can pick those up here. Oh, you got the alphabet down for Russian in 8 hours? Yeah. Not gonna happen in Japanese. You might get the hiragana down that quickly, but you've also got to learn katakana, and then all of the kanji after that. So, You tried 2 Duolingo lessons for Japanese, and then almost committed suicide because of it. Yeah, I have done Duolingo lessons for Japanese. I preferred an app on my phone called Lingo Deer, and that one I did end up going through the whole thing for Japanese. They've probably updated it at this point, but still need 2 more, huh? That is... We're gonna be probably waiting for a little bit on this treated wood in particular. But, now, how free is that? Free. Free, actually, for Lingo Deer. Lingo Deer is free. Pretty sure they have it both on iOS and Android. I run it on Android. It has a lot more than just Japanese as well. I think they might also have Russian. Do I even still have it installed is the question. Yes, I do. Lingo Deer is free. Let me see. They have Japanese, Chinese, and Korean, and French. They apparently have a Japanese 2 now. That would be great. They have Spanish, German, Portuguese, Vietnamese, and Russian. Taught in English. Lingo Deer, D-E-E-R. Alright, that's 7. And be sure to do it with sound. That's the other thing, because they do have native speakers speaking. And yeah, I preferred that over Duolingo. I had sort of tried both as well. I just preferred that. Next is the Faugi. Don't know how much of this I'm going to need, though. I'm just going to guess like 10. We'll go with 10. The important part here is that it's hydrogen and water in, and that's all that really matters to me. And that'll be that will end up equaling lard. I just need the wood to feed all this. Apparently, I also need tinned cables. So, this and tin. One, 2, 6, 8. More wood is required, alright. 9 and 10. Alright, that should be good. I should have all the machines that I need now. I did not realize that Lingodeer actually has added a Japanese too. I am definitely into that. Now, question is, that's probably my car right back there. I'll go grab it. So I will have to investigate that later. I took a very, very, very long pause on my foreign language learning recently-ish. Fortunately enough, I do have a lifetime subscription to the website that I am using to learn kanji. That is a site called WaniKani. And it's just to learn through their specific method of spaced repetition. Just for kanji, and it's actually pretty nice. And they have a yearly sale on their lifetime memberships, which is when I picked it up. But outside of electronic resources, I've also got like a bunch of textbooks. I've even got right next to me one of these. This is Learn to Read in Japanese, a Japanese reader. It has a ton of sentences with kanji, which is very, very ideal. You want as many sentences when learning as possible. I don't know anything about a trial with Lingodeer. Maybe the more advanced lessons will require payment at this point. I know that it was free when I went through originally. I want to repair this. Can't believe we've already got optical fiber. Yay. Okay, lard. This will be a bit of space. I would still think that introductory stuff should still be free at the very least. You should still have the ability to make your determination as to whether or not it's worth it. Listening to foreign radio. Yeah, that often does come up as a suggestion, as well as things like podcasts in the language that you're trying to learn, listening to those. Personally, the reason why I wanted to learn Japanese is for the specific purpose of not having to rely on reading subtitles while watching anime. That was like the entire reason, ultimately, as to why I wanted to start learning Japanese. And here I am so much later, I don't even have an active subscription to Crunchyroll anymore for anime, and that is sad. I just don't really have too much time anymore to watch anime, and frankly, the source material is pretty much always better. The source material is almost exclusively always better, for the exception of some very, very, very specific cases. I'm thinking of only one specific case where I thought that the anime was actually better than the source material. For reference, that very specific circumstance happened to be Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash. I absolutely thought that the anime was superior. Of course, in that instance, I had watched the anime before reading the source material. And I've read so much now from light novels that I sort of fear reading the anime, or watching the anime at this point after reading the light novels, because I'm afraid that they're not going to be quite as good. And I'll know firsthand just how much they actually skip. Hint, it tends to be a lot. It tends to be a lot that gets skipped. Alright, I was going to be setting up my Relesia and things. I guess I'll start with mushrooms. Beautiful mushrooms. Yeah, that's plenty. Oh, it's absolutely related to the amount of time that they can devote. They have to keep the story moving, and you're limited to 12 episodes in a season. They usually cover, in an anime, the content of 3 volumes of the light novels per season. Just for reference, I believe that it averages 3 volumes per season, for the most part, for any anime based off of a light novel. Oh, and I've also found that most of the time whenever you do the jump from light novel to manga, that it's often it's not the same. it is often a reduction, actually, to the work as a whole. I tend not to go into any manga series anymore unless it's started in that format. Alright, where's my Relesia? Relesia, where are you? You exist somewhere in here. Here. Glorious Relesia. Probably want that on the bottom. Also, you need soil. 9.5. Oh gosh. That's a bit of soil. Also, for my taste, manga is very short for the price. I understand the price and why it's that short, but also value comparison, I'd rather have the light novel if it exists. It's just it is inherently more expensive, and I would prefer the less expensive route of light novels, given the choice. I do read some manga series that exist only as manga series. For example, My Hero Academia. That is one that I am actively reading. I'm actually behind a little bit on that one. I am in the middle of reading volume 18 on that one. And Log Horizon Westwind Brigade. That one is exclusively a manga series as well, I do believe. Those are the main two, actually. If the only two. I should be, while I'm down here, bringing up some hydrogen when I find it. Hydrogen should be there. Right there. I see it. I see it! It exists! Hello. Thar it be. Why is it run this far up? Again. I have completely forgotten. Ah, molybdenum. That's right. Some academia spoilers. Well, here's the thing. I also haven't caught up with the anime yet, so I don't know where they ended last. Because actually the anime tends to be fairly caught up with what's been released in English on the manga series. In fact, there are periods of time where the anime is actually ahead of the English release of the manga series. Again, another one of those reasons why I want to learn Japanese. I'd sort of like to start reading source material in the source language. Also, getting paid to do translations would be a fun thing, I think. But of course, you definitely have to put in a lot of effort to learn the language. Okay, I need, like, one of these. Oh, look, I don't have any on me. Why do I not have any of you on me? Hmm. out here. Yeah, I mean, why go through the effort of learning that skill to not have a means of recuperating back at least some of the cost that it took to learn it. Cost of your time, anyway. It's always nice having avenues via the skills that you've learned to survive, help yourself survive. Alright, so this is gonna need an input. Yeah, here, this will be my input. Volunteer work. Yeah, that works too. You at least get the practice. Oh, that's not too bad. 1,500 lines of code to translate. Yeah, that's not too bad. Could be a factor of 10 higher, right? Or 20. Yeah, this will be this side as well. Maybe I'll share a lane. Do my Muckmo deserve to have independent lanes for mushrooms and Relesia? Well, technically the Relesia have to be converted into Relesia seeds first, so for now they're going to be separate. In fact, yeah, I will be bringing this up and it'll be going over, but yeah, anyway. Do I have enough soil coming out of these soil extractors? That is the question of the day. Soil. Welcome, soil. Even more. 3, 4, 5. Oh. I think there is enough soil coming out of these soil extractors. I need 9.55. 3. 3 is enough. Wait, how much? 3.6, yeah. 2 is fine. I'm gonna move these back. By 1 is fine. There we go. Just add water. Just add 450 of water. That's, interesting. Has this been buffed? I forget. I don't know. No, I'm thinking of limestone. Limestone requires stupid numbers of soil extractors. This is a lot more convenient. Okay, so that will be the soil in. All that's left is converting the Relesia to seeds, requiring 2 machines. How many days did it take the burn to heal in my experience? A while. Few weeks. But in term, like, it will look bad for at least a week. It will not be in pain after the first day. After that first initial experience, once the pain subsides initially, you won't feel it after that. If it's a second degree burn, from my experience. First degree parts of it you might sort of feel as well, but yeah, it always boggled my mind afterwards. Both times I've had hand burns that have made big blisters, because it's like the next day you can like start playing with the blisters on your palms and start flicking the fluid around inside there, and you feel nothing. You feel literally nothing at that point. It's the same as just like a normal blister on your foot from heat and friction. Let's see. Next is the thingies here. Time to get shroomy. This will lead directly into our Makmo. Glorious, glorious Makmo. Ten Makmo. Making lard. Glorious lard. I wonder how this will change once alien life hits. No, Carp. I'd rather you not go for the rest of that ride. Okay. Ha! Yeah, speak Russian and scare others in other nations. Well, there is actually a comedy routine on Netflix by Trevor Noah, and he actually does discuss that. He actually does discuss that. The whole thing with the with Russian accents, speaking English with the Russian accent, how it always seems so sinister when you hear a Russian person speaking English, and yet the moment they start speaking Russian, suddenly they're just the same as any other foreigner. It seems natural when they're speaking actual Russian versus speaking English with the Russian accent. Of course, that ultimately stems from media portrayals in movies and such. This is the output. Well, this is a thing. After all that, this is a thing that's been set up. And after all of that, it all needs to be routed down. Because the lard is actually being used. Or is it down? Is it down? Yes, it's down, because ultimately the lard is being used here. Oh no! My belt! Where'd all my belt go? It's as if I've been using my belt. Each one of these crafts is 15 belts, so even though it says 5 on here, that's 5 by 15. I just queued up a lot. Goodbye, car. Now I think I've got the water in. I've got the inserters down. I've got... Excuse me. I've got the hydrogen in. I've got the soil in. I've got the water to the soil. Ah. Ahem. I've got the water to the soil. I've got everything routed. Did I sneeze or cough? I got something caught in my throat. That's what happened. Something dry got caught on the way down. It was a cough to try to dislodge it. Didn't dislodge it at all. So, hey, that happens. Don't worry, I'm just dying. Don't mind me. Just dying. Sneeze, cough, hybrid? No. Nothing about that was a sneeze. All cough, actually. Hope I have enough power poles. It's a cough that was about to make me hoarse. I guess is the best way to describe it. I was briefly hoarse. Oh gosh, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I mean, in a sense, I did swallow something wrong. In this case, my own dried mucus. Anyway, I need to go back, grab some more power poles. They're being made, actually, all the way back at this head of the bus, so... From rear to front, and then back to rear. It's about 13-ish minutes for today's stream left. Let's see if we can at least get this etching solution made in non-zero amounts. Because that's going to be a major ingredient for quite a few things for these Circuit 2s. Unfortunately, it took quite a bit of setting up of stuff. Oh, really? Why are you... Okay. It... I know what it was doing. It was trying to put in not full health poles. It was trying to put in not full health poles. And it is not able to process items that are damaged. Yeah, it's similar in out here in the States. We're just getting over an incredibly hot heat wave. Like, it was setting heat records in the entirety of the East Coast region. Entire east half of the US, basically, was scorched. But today, rain came through and brought the temps down to more closer to seasonal. At least the air conditioning can actually keep up now, I would hope. You know it's bad when the air conditioner can't keep up. Can't actually get you to what you've set it to. But yeah, we had heat indexes, the feels like weather, in terms of Celsius, over 43. Upwards of 46 Celsius was how high the heat indices were, taking the humidity into consideration. So technically I do have lard. I just have to finish connecting these poles. Whoa. Come on, poles. You can do it. They are pigs! They are pig-ox hybrids. And they moo like cows. Okay. But then right now, because of the rain, it is 25C. We went... Well, that's without the heat index. What is it with the heat index? Not that much different, actually. 26.1C. Alright, so that is flowing our glorious fat. All that leaves is the actual hydrogen peroxide, which just needs the fluid inputs now. Okay, I have to grab the car, go to liquid nitrogen, find a spot to route that up, find my aromatics, route that up. Aromatics should be relatively close by. Alright, liquid nitrogen. Where the heck are you gonna go? That is a good question. So, all of this is used. All of this is used. That leaves you. I have not actually made a flamethrower. I I could. I could, but I don't actually have light oil to make the ammo for it either. I have the heavy oil, I don't have the light oil. Let's see. That is... How am I going to get this alignment right? This is literally in the middle of nothing that I have run this far up. Fourth from tailings, I guess, is the best indicator. Ah, as it turns out, the copper is right close by, and it is this line. At least I'm assuming it's this line, and I'm not making a very serious mistake. Fine, you want flamethrower? There's flamethrower. It exists. It exists. It is now there. I can't actually equip it. It won't tab to it because it doesn't have ammo. Oh, there's a gap there. Can't burn something until I have the ammo. Won't have the ammo until I get light oil. I could get light oil through processing. Hey, kitty. You, I know what you want. Kitty wants slap time. He's crawling over me. Yep, that's right. There's tail. There's the tail. Hi. I know you want your lunch, but you've got 3 minutes. Show kitty. Show kitty. Kitty. Kitty is boy, where here. Kitty. There's Kitty. This is Cole, spelled Kole. He's got a very pretty face, but he's also old. He's a little over 10, and now he's squirming and getting away. There you go. There's Tail again. He's been next to me the entire time. for reference. He is incredibly sick. Oh, I broke a thing. Let's see, I was working on... So I got that in, I need the aromatics. Where is aromatics? Aromatics. Aromatics. Right here. So coal is a mix of domestic and Maine Coon, and got a lot of the temperament of the Maine Coon, as well as a few of the physical characteristics. He is currently underweight for what he is, because Maine Coons are supposed to be incredibly big cats. He's more the weight of a standard house cat at this point in time. He has what's quite possibly cancer around his intestines, and that causes its own problems, and has arthritis along his entire spine and hips, and is currently taking 2 medications. One is a general painkiller, and the other one is a steroid to help reduce inflammation around the intestines. But again, he's over 10, so he is a senior kitty at the moment. So we're not surprised by health issues at this point. We've had him since 2011-ish, and he was suspected to be about 3 years old at that point, or at least 2. The doctor's vet later said that he's probably a little bit older than what was initially expected at the time we got him. He was adopted from an SPCA. A neighboring city's SPCA. So, we have etching solution. Huzzah! It is the end. We have reached the end. Isn't that right? Are you ready, kitty? Are you ready for your lunch? I think you're ready for your lunch. So, with that, I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku Showboat. Today we got etching solution and finished the optical fibers on the path to Circuit 2s. Next time I will be working on and hopefully finishing the rest of the stuff for the PCB2s. That will involve making bakelite into phenolic boards, and then routing literally everything that is required for the PCB2s. And from there, all that's left is the diodes, the resistors, transistors, capacitors, 2s, and setting up the different types of silicon for that. So I have to do it's the silicon into the different types of silicon into those products, and then that's circuit board 2s. Huzzah, we're getting closer. We're getting closer, but tomorrow should see PCB 2s, ideally. So again, thank you all for watching. I will be back with more tomorrow. I will see you all then.